boy. Just be yourself. If people don't like you if you're being yourself, fuck them.
Big Los,
Hollywood Kev,
and welcome to another episode of The Noize on iHeartRadio. If you haven't, go ahead and follow us at The Noize Podcast on the Big Three, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And, of course, follow Beat Network on all the social media sites. We'll go ahead and do the full-fledged plug. But today starts our favorite month, Black History Month. Well, it started on the 1st.
we a little late to the party.
We a little late to the party. This is a tad bit. Exactly. That's the
right.
whole purpose.
I like that.
Thank you.
I like that.
They already understand. But for us, it's Black Podcast Month as well. Hashtag Black Pod Month. Get it going. And to open this up, we are excited to introduce our first guest of the month. Kev, this is going to be a good show.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ladies and gentlemen of Twice Talk, Oak, and the man himself, Twice Daniels. What's going on with you folks?
What up, Los? How
What's
we feeling?
good?
I told you you're supposed to have them drops, huh?
I need him right.
Right.
We're going to do it just orally from here.
Improv.
Pause. Well, no, I guess not pause over here. Anyway.
We all here, baby. What's
Definitely
happening?
happy to have you guys. First of all, hopefully the studio wasn't too hard to find, was it?
Oh,
No.
no, not at all, not at all.
Cool.
Easy peasy.
Right. Oak, you're a regular here at this point.
I guess so.
This is 3 out of the 5 shows in Beat Network.
It's the third one.
It's the third one. I'm telling
Y'all
you.
love me. What can I say?
Like we say all the time, you're family of the show, you're family of Beat Network, you're legit family. So
Okay,
welcome
I'm
back.
family now.
Friendly show.
Okay.
Welcome back. Twice is your second time. No,
Yeah,
yeah, it's
yeah.
your second time, right?
Yeah.
All right, so we got to get you on one of the other shows. We'll squeeze it in. We'll figure it out somewhere down the line. So just to kind of jump into everything, Twice Talk. I know this is Black Pod Month, but you guys also broadcast over UNLV's radio station, right?
Yep.
All right, so tell me a little bit about the show and how all of this got started.
Okay.
First off, Oak just said she just wanted to bash on my head all the time.
Okay,
Because,
okay.
we was like, man, I got the perfect place to do it.
Okay.
So we just ended up getting that,
Of course.
Nah, but Twice Talk, we just try to bring back value back to the things that are timeless. Love, peace, patience, joy, happiness. Those kind of values to where that if time were to stop, those values would still remain.
Okay.
So, and then, we like to be enlightening and entertaining,
I'm the serious one. He's the fun one.
I've been able to.
So it's a good balance.
Definitely.
good balance.
So it's a show for everybody
Yeah.
at this point.
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
If I don't piss too many people off.
That's the funnest part.
Exactly. That's what keeps us clocking in every week.
People mad.
It's really an accident. It's not on purpose.
Not
I
at
will
all.
say that.
No,
So you do it on purpose, Kev?
No, I do it on accident too. I just don't care if they're mad about it.
Okay, same
That's
here.
the gotcha.
Are we best friends?
Yeah.
Like,
Did we just become best
right now.
we got
Right
a lot in
now.
common.
Just to kind of like give a little behind the scenes, when you did the show with Truth on Like Water for Chocolate,
Okay.
you had so many, quote, feminists upset.
Oh, did I? Please
yes.
tell me. I'm glad we're there.
Give us the tea.
Of course,
As he flips the hair.
I've come to realize that
Let me know.
when you declare yourself as the traditional womanist in a sense,
Yeah.
all of a sudden it's like, oh, that makes you a bad feminist. So there was a lot of
Yeah.
interesting, opinions about it.
Right.
But I do want to say, as the producer and the creator of all this, thank you for coming on and being so honest and forward.
Oh, for
You know, 'cause,
sure. I feel like in this business you have to be fearless.
Of course.
Question.
Have to be.
Otherwise, what are you doing? It's almost an insult to.
You're putting yourself out there every week, so might as well.
right.
Question.
For real.
Yes, sir.
You said traditional feminist and then put
Traditional
oak
feminist.
in the same sentence.
No.
Is that what I heard?
Not at all. Not at all.
Traditional?
I know.
It's traditional.
I would say from what is getting said from people,
Okay.
is in a sense, the anti-male rhetoric. And you
Right.
went on to explain how first of all, that's not even a part of what's supposed to be said.
Right, exactly.
And it's so much deeper than just going against the black man, and then how the women who could consider themselves traditional feminists are more so just angry.
Yeah, they're upset with men and they want to separate from men. And when you're a womanist, it's more of because of the dynamic of male dominance, both people get hurt. Both people inflict pain on each other. Both people need to heal together. So in womanist theory, that's where the men are still involved, are still included in this liberation. so to speak.
Right. I've been wanting to have this conversation for a while. Me and Kev all talking like, we got to get somebody in here.
Yeah.
So had to at least, touch on that. So again, thank you for
And I don't
being
know
so
what
honest.
kind of feminists would be upset about that. That's just weird.
Well, I gotta think about this. You mentioned the word angry. A lot of people are being angry, and I was thinking about being angry. And when you are angry, it's because you don't have control of the situation. That's the number one reason why people get angry.
And as human beings,
They
we
want to
need
control
that.
me.
They want to be able to control. So if you don't have control, people usually get angry and frustrated. And this is going to be the first gym of the day, the evening. If we all decided to or detached our feelings to things we can't control, we'll be a lot more peaceful. And probably things get a lot more done quicker.
That's some
like that.
thinking twice.
Yeah.
Officially here.
Gotta think twice, think right, baby.
Something real quick. All right, so getting back to the show. We got a little off the subject.
Oh, yeah, my bad.
But that's what we normally do here, honestly. We're going to bounce around, have a good
Let's
time,
do it.
good conversation. So with the show itself, you're the serious one, you're the silly one, but both of y'all have, it's like the connection that you guys have, the chemistry that when you're on the mic and when you're doing the show and you guys are doing it live, so it's not much of a margin for error there.
Exactly. That's like major key. People don't understand. Like, we're live. We make mistakes on camera.
didn't
You
know the show
all
was
see
live.
this.
I thought
You
it
can
was
go
good.
back into so and that's
No.
I'll be shooting a bunch of layups. Airballing. Oh.
no, but
And I will crack a bunch of jokes.
hey, it works out because again, that's y'all giving your true self. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? And it's so authentic. Like I really do love listening to it and
Oh,
watching it at
thank
that.
you. Thank you.
How do you maintain the subject matter that you guys do? Okay, I'll kick it to you. I know twice you had some good gems in the beginning.
Oh, yeah. She got
How do I ask that question again? I'm sorry.
So basically, knowing that you're in the hot seat in a sense.
Okay.
And your conversation flows so well. Where do you guys find the topics and I guess build the show in a sense?
Built the show. A lot of times we kind of just build off of current events. So like Super Bowl, we might have a conversation about the Super Bowl or the opening of the Super Bowl, which I had a lot to say about it. And then we just go from there and just stream other topics in with that. So let's say when I watched the Super Bowl, I thought it was very propagandized, as it has been over the last couple of years because of Cap, right?
Of course.
Me and Twice might talk about that, and then Twice has his quirky topics where we would talk about patience or authenticity, things like that. So that's how we kind of build the show.
Okay. Do you ever feel like you run into, since you're on the spot and going live, you ever feel like you run into obstacles to kind of keep up with the conversation and make the time that you guys want to do?
Oh, yeah. It's difficult to fit everything in an hour.
That's sure. It's too true.
Sometimes we be going over, and often I don't even get to say everything I want to say.
Oh, yeah.
And I be forgetting.
Would you say that's the worst part about doing a live show?
Yes. Because there's been a couple times you hit me over the head with some major
I think
quotes,
it's good practice.
and I missed them.
And then afterwards,
The
you
swing.
think of good stuff to say. It's like an argument.
I say it's just like a relationship argument.
Right.
Exactly.
God damn it, I could have told her this.
And I felt like I let her win, and I know she
Oh
shouldn't.
my gosh, he wants to argue with me on camera. Apparently,
No, it's not. I just want to.
you want to win one. He wants to win one.
No,
You'll get your one sooner or
No,
later.
it ain't one, baby. We already done passed
Okay.
So obviously this is also Twice Talk. This is, it's a merge show at this point. So hope y'all
Oh,
enjoy,
dope. We need to do that.
Yeah, most definitely.
I saw that y'all had Jay Alonzo from Beat Network, Back to the Classics on the show. And you guys were talking movies and everything like that. I guess it's kind of getting to the what I wanted to be the last subject, but, me bringing up Jay, kind of move it up now.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Okay.
And we can close out with the other one. How do y'all feel about TV shows? Like, what's your TV game like? What you watching right now?
Queen Sugar. That's like
Bomb show.
That was a great show.
Dope show.
How to Get Away with Murder. Those are my top two right now.
That was the go-to.
How to get away
And
with
Walking
murder.
Dead. Walking Dead is.
And you want to argue.
Okay, we can
and she's
cut
watching
that
how to get away with
Because I
murder.
didn't want to say the
She's
shit,
taking
but I
notes.
was like, I'm so used to UNLV. But yes,
for it.
The Walking Dead is the shit, guys. Okay.
I'm not gonna lie. Unpopular opinion,
not.
but I clocked out of Walking
up.
Dead kind of early. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
Oh
I'm
my
so sorry.
gosh.
I'm pretty sure I missed some great shit along the way.
You have.
Yes.
You have.
But I definitely
And I'm
clocked out
disappointed in you.
Listen,
disappointed.
this ain't
Why?
about you.
Because those should be better than this.
He should be
He
better.
should be better than this.
Okay.
Boring ass TV watcher. Carry on. Sorry.
Oh,
Twice. Twice. What
what
are
are
you
you
watching, sir?
watching?
man, I don't watch anything that makes me have to think. Because I think all day. And
Mindless
I have to
TV.
watch stuff that just has zero intelligence. In
Right.
Is there a reason for that?
No, I
So
agree
my
with
brain
him.
can shut
I
down
agree.
and shut off.
Okay.
Like,
I can understand that.
Like Family Guy. You
Boom.
don't have- you
That's
don't
right.
have
That's
to
like
think.
my go-to,
You don't
exactly.
have
I
to
can
think at
understand
all. Dragon Ball Z. No thinking.
It
Don't you
depends.
find yourself on your phone after you're not?
No, I'm
Cause I'll be like,
happy.
Instagram.
Yeah, exactly. No, you tuned in and you're like almost like zombified
Yeah.
watching
That's
it.
crazy.
You're
That's the
locked in.
opposite. I would
Yeah.
think.
Yeah, I can't.
I would
do
think
it.
somebody like you would think like me all the time.
Man,
I watch stuff that's going to provoke my interest
uh-huh.
because I like thinking.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Well, except when it's time to go to sleep, and I'd be like, "Shut the hell up." But for the most part, it's fun to me. So to hear you say that you don't like to think for the shows, that's weird.
Imagine putting a 5.0 liter V10 engine on 7 RPMs all day.
All right, I get what you're saying.
You gotta sleep.
Yeah, I get what
Yeah,
you're
and
saying.
then you gotta come to the yellow light, red light, school zones, all of that.
I get it.
No, I agree. After doing so much throughout the day, you really just want that moment to just sit down and just do absolutely nothing. To be real, I feel like that's why people watch reality TV shows. It's like,
Maybe.
you want to just see some ratchet fights and some good arguments and just go from there. You're not watching to learn something.
Oh yeah, you'd be a fool
on
to be
Love and
watching
Hip Hop.
that.
You're not
You know
whatsoever.
what?
You're learning what not to do.
You learn what
Right.
not to do. Exactly. That's the only lesson you get out of that.
So what lessons would we get watching that?
Don't
Like,
fight in
oh,
the club.
Right. Like, dang, that's what I look like when I pop off? Nah, I can't do it.
Don't say you're working on music and the album never comes. It's a bunch of
Coming
things.
soon.
Coming soon. I'm in the studio, but
Coming
we're
Every
soon.
day in the studio, but not a single.
But not a
drop.
single song coming out. Exactly.
Right.
So you learn how to finesse life.
Every
at
day in
least.
the studio. Oh man, that's a real one right there.
Exactly. So that's the only thing you're really
That's the
getting
Bow
out of
Wow
those
challenge
kind of
almost.
shows. But not.
Silly.
And don't you have a show now too? Any on Grown
He's
Up
on
Hip
Grown
Hop?
Up Hip Hop. Mm-hmm.
So many lessons. It's so many lessons.
I love Bow Wow. I'm waiting on his music.
Why though?
Yeah.
What, in 2018?
Yes, I heard a little sneak peek of it on the Shade Room, and it sounded lit.
Oh, for real?
Yeah,
Probably
it
was
did.
just that little sneak peek.
I'm always be a fan of Bow Wow,
That's
okay?
sneaky.
The sneak peek was good. No, I think it's gonna be good.
Or do you
We'll
think
see.
anybody wants to listen to him outside of yourself in 2018?
Like, are you the one that be
I
like, pass
think
me the
that-
aux cord
Is
and
he going
bounce with
to
me?
make his $10 off of you, or will there be more people? It's just,
You're that stream that's
Okay,
keeping this
I'll
pen
say
alive
this.
right
I
now.
think that Bow Wow has a fan base, and once he produces something that's dope and different than everything else that he's been doing, I think that he can reach them again. But we shall see, right?
I would say he's definitely a brilliant marketer. Like, he keeps himself in conversations, whether you're
Yeah.
clowning him or he's doing something that's worth talking about. But a lot of times it's the clowning side of it. So it's going to be interesting to see when he actually comes out
Well,
with a
it's
project.
trendy to talk bad about him. So when it's trendy to talk good about him, people will talk good about him, I think.
But that's an interesting thing, and if I can get into my twice for a second, it's more popular to talk shit about anything, at least in this day and age. Like, there's not much positive conversation that gets shared. There's not much positive conversation that really when you're in these kind of settings. You know what I mean? No one's really trying to talk about what dope thing happened or what's happening with the culture and what's progressing, what's moving us forward. But we definitely got a story about what this bitch did at work or some random shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, I've never understood. If I can get your take on that really quick, then I'll go back to the
Okay.
TV show.
Really quick. So I'm reading this book. It's called Democracy versus Democracy. And it's saying that America is no longer a democracy. It's a democracy, which is
You posted
where,
about that, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
think I saw that.
Which is where there are no speakers that speak about changing policy. They just speak about things that will create a polarized way of looking at things. So that's why I feel like people are following the trend of being more provocative than a resolver,
Right.
in a sense. So,
And trolling is huge right now.
yeah.
So it's moving.
I mean, that's why Trump is the president, because he's
the ultimate troll.
This is
ultimate
the democracy.
troll.
So those are the
have
kind
to
of
pick that
leaders
book
that
up.
are produced.
I'm going to have to read that.
Yeah, I still haven't fully. I don't understand the concept that well, but that's just the basic surface.
So look,
I
gotcha.
still don't understand the
Yeah.
title of the book. I'm still trying to democracy.
Yeah, democracy versus democracy.
Oh, that's
That's why you gotta
I'm
pick up the book.
book. I'm a nerd.
There's nothing wrong with that. Twice, how you feel about it, man? Why is negativity so big?
Well, First off, we're living in a world where an image is more important than the intelligence.
Definitely.
For sure.
Them likes and follows mean everything.
And so, you said who?
Said those likes and the
Likes and
follows.
followers.
Yeah. And with that being said, likes and follows, like you said, go with the image. And all of the images that we have are mostly negative, and negativity usually, gets the buzz, gets the
Right.
gets all the money. What they say, offense sells tickets, defense wins championships.
Right.
We selling tickets. They offensive. You dig?
Okay.
I appreciate the gems. Hey, I
That was
like
cute.
that one.
That was cute.
All right, so kind of doubling back to the TV conversation, which isn't as deep as the conversation we just had. They're bringing back a lot of shows from our come up times, and it's interesting because in this, like in today's society where social media is big and everything that's going on is all connecting you to social media, like it all kind of goes back to the same thing. So you're starting to see it a little bit in the storylines that they're bringing out. Like I know some of the shows that came back out. 24, Full House, Fear Factor, Gilmore Girls, Girl Music
Gilmore.
World.
How old are they?
How old
Netflix.
are they?
Are they
Netflix.
120 years old?
More than likely, they up there.
Granddaughters?
It probably is the children, low key.
Gotta be.
I think I just saw TRL. Didn't that just come back? No,
Yeah.
Now
TRL
that's
did
dope.
just come back.
That's dope.
I haven't
it's
caught it yet,
why his name just
TRL.
leave me? DC Young
DC
Fly.
Young Fly,
There you go.
yeah.
He's hosting it now.
That's awesome.
And there's a crazy list of other shows coming back. I tried to list as many of them as I could.
They said Martin's coming back.
I saw that.
That's unfortunate.
I saw
I'm
pictures.
scared.
Unfortunate.
Yeah.
I'm a little scared.
Why?
I'm excited, but I'm a little nervous.
Yeah, I'm with her on that.
Because
think
you
they gonna
don't.
mess it up?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. And then not
Definitely.
only if they mess it up, it kind of taints the legacy of Martin. 'Cause
Negative.
Everybody,
It would,
if they mess
right?
up, see, listen, if they mess it up, everybody going forward is going to only have the image of the shitty Martin,
Right.
not the Martin that we grew up on. So I think it kind of taints the legacy of that. You just got to leave stuff alone.
Oh yeah.
I think they should just leave
And
it
it's
alone.
definitely going to be a more of a nostalgia kick than it is entertaining. Like, this generation doesn't know much about Martin like that. Like how everybody went crazy when Biggie was on an episode. A lot of these cats out right now that's really consuming, the media and consuming these TV shows were born in like 98, 2000.
Yeah.
Some of them, they only heard of Big, only heard of Pac. They died in 97, 96.
Right.
So it's really just a nostalgia kick. And if that's not going to connect, I think, didn't Martin try to come back with a show with Kelsey Grammer not too long ago?
I don't know.
Yeah, that-
Was it a stand-up show?
No, it was a TV show.
Not to my knowledge.
Right. We all over here clueless.
Like, I don't
Terrible
know.
marketing,
Somebody
by
in
the
the
way.
Googles right now, since we live. Somebody's in the Googles right now. Let us know what it's called. But I think they had a show come back. And I did like 3 episodes, and then it just crashed because nobody's thinking about Frasier right now. Frasier was way
Right.
back then.
Hey, the grandfather of Frasier died today.
Today.
Oh yeah, he did. I
Yeah.
did see that.
Oh wow.
I thought that was interesting. I mean, he was old, not the fact that he died, but the fact that we're talking about it is interesting.
I was like, it's interesting.
Come on, did you know?
Let
Did
me
you follow his
find
work? Well, rest in peace to him.
I just hope if they do bring Martin back, like I don't want to see the same characters. Like I want to see something
Why?
new.
You don't want to see
Because I
Pam?
think it's gonna be odd to see them again as themselves.
What kind of character?
Especially knowing what you like.
What you already know.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
Otis
How
should be
the
dead
show-
by
yeah.
now. Otis was at least 60
the
back then.
police officer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Otis, he should definitely be kicked the bucket by now.
So I wonder what they're gonna do. Maybe they're gonna do like sketch comedy built off of the Martin theme or something.
How do you pay homage to Tommy?
I was going to ask that question next too.
Like, how do you pay homage to him without and making it entertaining in a way?
Yeah.
Like they'd have to kill him off, wouldn't they?
Well, yeah.
They just
Oh,
said he
Whoa.
probably got transferred to another job. And they like,
Oh, he may have actually gotten a job, right?
Yeah, they probably gonna
Hey,
do like that.
if we see that on an episode, they owe us money. Reference back to this day.
they gonna-
Reference back to today. We get stabbed. They say Tommy is overseas working in China or something.
Overseas.
It came from here.
No, I think
Yeah.
they're gonna kick the first episode with a funeral.
Oh.
I can see.
All right,
them
so we're
doing
starting
that.
dark. All right.
Yeah, I can see them doing
Hard
that.
and dark. Yeah,
I
they
truly
you
can.
Think so?
I can see them doing it. How else would you do it? He's a character
I think
that
that's
can't
cool
be
because
removed.
now they're back together
Yeah,
and
yeah.
whatever the case may be.
I think out of all the characters, he's probably the less. You can't remove him
Right.
and still have the same show without there being a reason why he's removed. I
Right.
think if they could have
Agreed.
left Cole to the side and people would know, fuck it.
Right.
But Tommy, you're gonna be like, nah. See, at work, what is he doing?
Right.
So I don't know. It'd be interesting to see what they do with it,
Okay.
but I think they're gonna mess it up personally.
Would I ain't Brumman, would Hustle Man be in it? Because at this point, Tracy Morgan is kind of bigger
He's
than
bigger
what
than
Martin
the
was at the
character,
time.
yeah. I I don't know.
Even though he's not as funny, but Tracy
Did
Morgan.
you watch the Def Comedy Jam? He said that's
most
his
recent one?
OG. He's
Oh, yeah, of
always
course.
going to be his
You're right.
OG.
You're right.
So you
He's
never
that he
know,
gonna show up
might
for his OG.
slide in.
We may get like one Hustle Man appearance, but it ain't the same anymore. Like he ain't chubby,
not
he ain't
fat,
dirty no more.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Skinny,
Hustle
yeah.
Man got bread. Like the hustle turned out pretty good for him.
Right.
Oh, maybe that's what it is.
Hustle Man got a job.
He got
Or
an
he
actual
owns the
job.
club that they used to go to.
It's gonna be something. Another thing
Or that.
What-
That'd be a
what
good
about
idea,
Big
too.
Shirley? Big Shirley gonna come
Did
back?
they ever show Big Shirley?
Only one
I
time
don't
at the
remember
bar.
Big
She was
Shirley.
Yeah,
big.
she was.
Yeah, I know they saw her like her body, but did they ever show like her
No,
face? Or?
No. They
I don't
ain't go
remember Big
above.
Shirley.
They didn't go above her chest, but she was.
She was a biggin.
It was
Yeah.
always eating.
Let me tell you, Cole was looking up like this to her, chin all the way to the ceiling.
Yo, every time they showed them together, Cole was just waiting to take it down. Like you just saw it in his face. Like when we get to the crib, it's about to
Cole.
be real nasty.
I do not remember Big Shirley. I'm so lost.
That's his
I'm like, Big
girl.
Shirley.
That's his girl.
Yeah.
Remember, like every time
it.
she burped, like the whole room shake and shit start
would-
falling off
she
the
would
wall.
walk
I
through
can't
an
stand
earthquake.
Martin. He's so stupid.
That's seriously though. Another thing that's interesting about it though, one, I didn't even know Tisha Campbell and Martin even squashed their beef.
Me either.
Oh, they
was
had
beefing?
beef?
Bad,
Really?
bad.
This is why I feel the show is gonna be messed up. 'Cause
Right.
knowing that they had beef, the whole last season, I think the 5th season, they weren't in the same
Did
season.
not know
with each
that.
other.
Oh,
If you go back and watch the last season, you won't see one
won't see
What's
scene.
the
the
same
tea?
scene.
Why were they beefing?
So, and
Martin thought that really was his girl.
Shut
All right.
up.
all right. So I'm gonna jump into my conspiracy.
he got
I'm gonna throw in the
personal.
conspiracy
Yeah.
hat. And
Oh.
when you watch the Martin show and you see any TV show where there's a couple,
Okay.
and you see the intimacy between the couple, and then like that it's like fake acted love for each other. When you go back and watch Martin, that didn't look like that.
That was his girl.
That looked like it was, I'm gonna see you at, when we get up out of here. Well,
Yeah.
And around that time, she started dating Dwayne Martin. So my conspiracy is that she started fucking with Dwayne Martin, and Martin couldn't handle it.
He was jealous.
Because fast forward to what came out in the news, apparently they got drunk one night and he was being extra. She wasn't feeling it, and it turned to a big blowout.
That is
and she went to
hilarious.
the producers and to the director and was like, I don't want to be in the scene with him anymore. So that whole last season, there was just no Martin and Gina.
That's why they started focusing on Pam.
Right.
In that last
That's why
season.
everyone had
Her being
storylines
A&R,
in that last one. And
oh
then
wow.
Oh, child, now I gotta watch the last season. Of
I'm telling you, once you watch, you're gonna be like, oh shit, they never
That's
was
crazy.
together.
It's clicking. It's clicking.
It's
Left
gonna
and
come
right.
together exactly, pieces.
So there's two thoughts that came up just now. The first thought was Martin and Gina weren't professionals.
Right.
The definition of a professional is no matter how you feel, you get the job done.
Right.
So
In their head, they got it done.
in there,
Yeah, they did.
A lot of the because
That's very
once
true.
you go back and watch it, a lot of the interactions was over the phone,
Over the phone, yeah.
or him checking the voicemail, and it was Gina. Like they never was in the same scene. So in their head, they got through that final season. Like they knew it was raps. It's just like when they replaced. We talked about them last year when they replaced Aunt Viv.
Yeah.
It was instantly bad press. And it
I
was
don't
like,
have no issue with them replacing on Viv though, man.
You don't got no issue.
Nah, I like them both. I had an issue with them replacing Harriet from Family Matters.
no one even remembers the second Harriet. That's the
No.
crazy.
You're right. I
Remember.
remember what she looks like, but I
Right,
don't
who was
remember a
Harriet?
single line.
And they-
I didn't really care for Family Matters. Like it was cool.
Me either.
Like I liked it, but I wasn't. It wasn't like that.
right, it wasn't
It
like a
wasn't
staple.
Yeah.
So last question. When you was talking about couples that looked like they were really into it, what about Mr. and Mrs. Smith? Was that?
Yeah, you can tell. Well,
What is that?
With,
The
with,
movie?
Yeah, with Brad Pitt and Angelina.
Oh.
with movies though, you kind of have to. I don't know, because they're like the acting with movies is different. Like a lot of times they can act like they've been together for 20 years and
Right, but
despise
a
each
show
other.
is like-
you've seen people in movies that for a fact don't like each other and will still kiss each other, have the sex scenes and the whole nine. TV, we'll keep Tisha Campbell in mind for this
Okay.
next one. When she did My Wife and Kids. And you see the connection that she had with Damon Wayans, it wasn't the same like how she had with Martin.
You knew
Right.
they were just doing
You
it.
knew they
wasn't
were
the same.
exactly.
It
You knew they
wasn't
were
the
just
same.
colleagues. You go back to Martin, you knew somebody was going back to somebody's trailer. That's what it looked like at least. Like they were
It was
really
just too
on.
believable.
Exactly.
Everybody's like, nobody's saying, "Oh, I'm Tisha Campbell and Damon Wayans." People are like, "We're Martin and Gina."
Exactly.
So
So how is that connection going to work when it comes back to it? Knowing everything that happened. Now, of course, they're two different people, and
Maybe
time
he'll be
heals
with
all.
Pam. I'm just joking. I'm joking.
That'll mess everything
Right,
up.
huh? You gonna start riding that thing?
Yeah, we need this check.
With
Yeah,
Pam
this one
now.
we need to check. We need to check.
I think it's easy to ride a
Put
bike.
the whole show together.
Once you already done rode the bike, you
You
can
never lose it.
jump right back into it.
I don't know if this is the bike for it.
This bike got too many wheels.
Exactly. This bike been around for a minute. It ain't been serviced in a cool while. Some other stuff they're bringing back. I know they mentioned A-Team's coming back. Bewitched is coming back. Y'all remember Bug Juice?
Oh, Bewitched?
Bug Juice. Bewitched supposed to be coming back.
Is
yeah.
it going to be a black version? Because that'd be lit.
I strongly doubt.
Strongly.
Strongly doubt.
Strong.
They're not rushing to make too many black versions of anything after all the outrage of Annie.
Dang. But a black Bewitched?
That'd be dope.
It would be dope.
That'd be dope.
Like,
would
if
be
it was
dope.
Drea, though? No?
No.
I keep trying to put her in the show because she's so sexy.
You should stop.
It's
not gonna work.
You can keep going. Well, I want to see her on TV. too.
Yeah.
Can she act?
Let's get
well,
on
if
it.
she on Love and Hip Hop or whatever. Which one is she on?
Love and Hip Hop.
Boom, she on
No,
Love and
no.
Hip Hop.
She was on Basketball Wives. That's what she was on.
She was fighting and yelling. I said if she was fighting and yelling. That's the show she was on.
She gave somebody a black guy.
Oh, what'd she get?
Nothing.
Oh,
She came out clean. She
Stop.
finessed everybody.
finesse the game. Oh,
Shout out to Dre. Hey, come on the show. Charmed apparently is coming back, and I saw
Charmed.
Charmed.
That's so done. Like, just
Now I can
stop.
see them trying to make a black version of that one.
Not gonna happen.
Only reason I see that is
If
because
it was a black version of Charm, I'm watching it.
because I don't think any of them are even cool with each other. Like I haven't heard of any
Really?
kind of beef being
You
squashed
have
between
all
those three.
the tea about the beef
Man,
It's all
listen,
in
in
that laptop.
Hollywood.
listen. When that's what the show is based around, just different entertainment and pop culture stuff like that, you end up finding out some shit.
you end up
You end up getting into some stuff.
Couple breadcrumbs.
Exactly. And I know we tried to get into some deeper stuff early in the show, ended up pissing off a lot of people. Now we're kind of coming back to it. So you end up following some other stuff. But it's all going to come together. 2018 is going to be a good time.
Speaking of beef in the entertainment industry, this is a shout out to Cannon just for you, Lo.
All right.
When you think about the word punchable,
Punchable.
what celebrity comes to mind?
DJ
Draymond
Academics.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't know you felt that strongly about him.
DJ Academic.
He's one of those I wouldn't hit him because I feel bad afterwards.
No, I wouldn't.
Whoa.
I'd feel bad because I know he wouldn't. There's nothing he can do. So I would feel
damn.
bad. I would
What if DJ Academics got squabbles?
What if he
Like
got
I
in
said,
the
I would
heat?
feel bad for that guy. That's why I have no issue. I have an issue with him because I think he's a dork. But outside of that,
A dork.
yeah, outside of that, I ain't got
Well,
no
Well,
issue.
dang.
So
What's
you
the
want to punch him
tea?
and he's lame?
No, I don't want to punch him. He's just
so
lame.
you would
He wants to
him
punch
and
him.
he's lame.
You
I
want
just
to
said
punch
he's
him.
lame.
He's
I'm gonna say
punchable.
he's punchable. All right, right. I'm not just up and jumping like when I see Academics, he's gonna catch a right. It's nothing like that.
But he is punchable.
But he's definitely punchable.
Okay.
And it's
I wonder why.
all right. So I'm also a hip hop connoisseur,
Uh-huh.
and I think it's great that he speaks so highly for the millennials. I think it's
Mm-hmm.
amazing to have somebody that can legit talk about what these artists are doing and not just keep it condensed to he's lit or he's dope.
Right.
Just actually
He breaks it
expand
down.
on something. Exactly. But sometimes his points just kind of get on my nerves, like for his reasons to not like other stuff, and
What's
consider
other stuff? Like new rap?
not necessarily new rap, like how you got what's his name, Tekashi 6ix9ine.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Well, thank
Me
you
and you
twice.
are truly best friends. 'Cause I'm clueless.
So it's one of the new cats, Tekashi 6ix9ine. Like he champions him through and through. Thinks he's lyrical. Thinks he's all this
Oh, for
other
real?
stuff.
Okay.
But then when you talk about Kendrick, he's like, eh. And I'm just like, so
Like
what's
how?
exactly like? What's your scale? Like, what's your level of lyricism? Like, what do you
Right.
consider bar game? And he said the same thing about Jay here and there.
Do you know his background at all?
Of course,
Like,
that's why he's punchable.
What I'm saying, does he come
Yeah, what's his
from
background?
like the hood or something?
No.
I
Clearly,
think-
I,
I
can
think
tell
that
by what he
plays-
just
I think
said.
that plays a big difference in because he's around the same age as us.
Right.
So I think that plays a big difference in
Mm-hmm.
how he
Not-
champions artists.
And if I would, ever quote one of the new guys, I could definitely go off of what it was either Uzi or Yachty, one of them. But they had said that era of music created a lot of fake thugs, fake gangsters, fake drug dealers. So it's like you cannot come from the hood and listen to the music and still appreciate it. Because if you can't relate to it, you at least appreciate the stories.
Yeah.
With Academics, he puts a lot of these new dudes on a pedestal as if they're just just so dope and so
Innovative
deep.
and stuff,
Exactly.
yeah.
And it's like, it's the same shit over and over.
Yeah.
Now, we've had this conversation on the show a bunch of times. And I can't sit here and say it's necessarily whack. It's just not for me. It's definitely for a certain age range.
Okay.
But listening to it, like, what are you getting from these records? And why is what we listen to considered bullshit? Why is what we listen to considered, overly... he said something about it. Ooh. Of course, yeah. He said something about an everyday struggle. I can't remember what it was. But yeah, that's why I wouldn't want to get into a conversation about hip hop with him. Because then that's when it
'Cause you
becomes
gonna punch him?
punchable. Exactly.
That makes more sense now. That makes more sense now. Getting a hip hop conversation, I agree with you with that. Then.
And you said Draymond
So
Green?
he's punchable.
I'm always gonna, he's punchable. I'm always gonna punch Draymond Green, no matter what.
Why?
You shot Draymond?
I can't stand his
Hey,
ass.
he got hands, boy.
So do I. I cannot stand
Getting
him.
steamy. Beat Network, y'all with
But
the
I
shit.
haven't.
It's called Beat. Exactly.
Right.
I haven't liked him since I saw him in Summer League.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, he just was
Oh,
real
so it's
arrogant.
like 5 years.
It's just like
Oh,
he was just
he's
real
arrogant.
arrogant, and I'm like, dude, there's people that are watching you that are better than you. You shouldn't be
Like,
that
relax.
ignorant. Yeah, but and that just kind of carried over.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Who's punchable to y'all?
Trey Songs.
You
Yes,
punch Trey
yes.
Songz?
Really?
Sock him. I will Donkey Kong sock him on top of the
Donkey
head.
Kong
Why?
sock him.
But her response was so on site.
Yeah, it was like
Trey
as soon as she
As soon as-
see him coming out the store,
As soon as she's doing correspondence at the BET Awards, you can be
Pow, right
in the
on
middle.
top of it.
And next up, hold on for a second, y'all.
Hold my earring.
Right off camera. Like, oh shit. So why Trey Songz?
I don't like how he treats women. So
Oh, that's a solid
That's
reason.
Mr.
Yeah.
Steal Your Girl. How he steal
I
your
will tell
girl
you
and
this:
treat her
everything
good.
he says in those songs is how he really feels. Okay.
Yeah.
Now that might make y'all like him more. I don't know, but I don't like when men feel like they have this sexual entitlement or authority towards women, like you just owe them sex.
That makes sense.
Not really a huge Trey Songz fan, so.
I mean, I love his music, but
Yeah,
then when
a
it
few
sounds
hits, but-
too real, like how he is, I'll be like, nah.
Only reason I'm not really a big fan of his because like his music, you can't really pick what key is he in. Like what key is like what key is that? What
I don't
note
know
is he
about
hitting?
keys.
Like what is that? But of course, and I feel you. I definitely feel you on that one. Twice,
Somebody said, fuck Trey Songz and
Punchable.
Trey Jones.
Oh, sheesh.
everyone wants to punch Trey Songz apparently.
And
know-
Trey Jones.
I really don't have someone I want to punch.
Or who would you punch? There you go.
Who's punchable?
I feel like you're lying. It got to be
I
at least
feel-
one person you want to hit.
Right, how's that your question?
You know, I got a lot of questions I don't got answers to. That's why I ask them. Just trying to get some
Bars.
Some clarity. You know who was really weird when I met him? I remember every time I met a celebrity, and I'm gonna actually do a show on it, or not a show, or maybe like a video on it.
Okay.
But Jermaine Dupri.
Really?
When I met him, he was awkward, yo.
Damn.
I wouldn't punch him, but I was like, I
Kinda
might flinch
funny in
at
the
him.
light.
I might flinch at
He
him.
looking funny in the light. That's what it
He's
is.
little,
Yeah.
I'm
though.
about to say it's like hitting a child. He's so small.
Yeah, for sure.
And funny looking.
But that's
And there's that.
And I know that's bad. because I don't want to punch Jermaine Dupri, but
Be like
But he's
punching a
punchable.
midget.
is he punchable? I might trip him or something.
Okay.
But like, where's the
No,
tripping
not.
happen? Like in the street or like y'all at a basketball
You know how
game? You
you-
see him going back with the popcorn and nachos. You just like,
Yeah, and then
watch your
you-
step, bro.
You know how you somebody pass you, and like, oh, you remember this?
Oh, okay.
Oh, that. Okay.
You would hit him with a member this.
You hit him with one of them or something.
I'd pay to see that. I just want to see. Let me be there to make that go viral. I want to be a part of that.
He said, let's go viral.
I'm a trip. Hey, that's the new thing. I want to start tripping niggas
He's
at
always
this
at
point.
Crazy Horse 3, so you can catch him there.
Oh, for real?
That's his little hangout.
Really? And how do you know this?
How do you know this?
No clue.
Yeah, I couldn't even tell you.
Right?
Tell
I
you I
don't
have
recall.
to kill you.
I was in Hustlers the other night. Shoot.
Shit, we got off the television one again. Anyway, either way. So out of not even out of these shows that we even named, what would you want to see come back? What is something that you would be okay with getting one more shot that's not going to tarnish the legacy or take away from what you already had from that show?
I'm a Voltron guy.
That would be dope. Well, cartoons kind of can live forever.
Yeah, and I want to see it. I want to see the animated, like the 3D, the new, what's like, you know how they just redid.
It got
Power
real
Rangers?
quiet on our sides, by the way. If you
They
haven't
just
noticed.
did.
Both
Yeah,
sides.
I'm an
okay.
anime guy. For sure. I love anime. You know how they did redid the Power Rangers?
Mm-hmm.
They did Voltron in a way, or if they had it to where it wasn't just drawn but animated.
Right.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
What would I want to come back? I have no clue. That's a hard answer. Like I want to say Bebe's Kids. Like I wouldn't mind seeing that remade.
That'd be dope.
It's not a show, so that's why I didn't want to say that. But I would like to see like a new Bebe's Kids or maybe a cartoon.
No, they had
show.
like Bebe's Kids on like Netflix or something, so that way they have free range to do and say whatever they want. It'd be like a black Family Guy, low key. That'd be dope. That'd be dope to see. Again, write it down. Cut the check.
Cut
the check.
Hey, that's like 3 checks already cut.
Oh, we in. We winning.
Balling right now.
Oh, might as well just go for the good vibe.
Hey, might as well. Let's wrap up. Kev, what you think?
It'd probably be Smart Guy.
Why?
yeah?
Because I think that show was ahead of its time. You had a black single father teaching raising 3 black kids, and one of them was a genius. That's ahead of its time. It wasn't
Okay.
appreciated. I don't think it was appreciated in the 90s. I think now it'd be appreciated.
Yeah. I can see that. I like that. But
That'd
is
be
he
dope.
like a little kid? Or is he
I mean,
not?
they could redo it. They can make them like a new people. Because I think the guy that played the
Oh, you talking about completely revamped,
yeah,
like from
yeah,
the start?
Like, 'cause
Wow.
Okay.
well, I think because the dad, he be looking rough. I seen him in
Yeah.
some movie and he was looking rough. And this movie came out last year.
No, last time I saw him was on like an episode of The Parkers. I think it was.
Yeah, so I'm saying
And even that was old.
they can redo it with a new cast or make it to where the dad's not really in it. He's the only removable character and make it be the youngest son's whole journey.
Basically, what
Smart Guy. That's cute.
was it? The Boy Meets World spinoff. Basically, what they're doing right now. I think he's like the father.
Yeah, in a sense, but
Does
with that
anybody
one,
watch that?
I don't think so.
I think it's still running, so someone must watch it.
Somebody's watching it.
So,
One
exactly.
person watching it. He's still
Somebody's
watching.
giving them them Nielsen ratings, one or the other,
Right.
because they're still clicking. They're having at it.
Los, man, you are influential when it comes to knowing the culture of hip hop. So when we were speaking about the culture, this question came up, man.
It's my favorite conversation.
I just love your insight, man. They said there was this meme. It says the reason why there's such a difference between our era and the millennials, or we might even be millennials.
We are millennials. Yeah.
We are
We're the
millennials.
older millennials. As
So
yeah.
between our eras, because we grew up on music of drug dealers.
Right.
Today's kids are growing up on music for drug users.
Users,
How
definitely.
do you feel about that?
I know for sure the music ain't for me, so I can't say that it's whack. But I do think it's crazy how poppin' Zans and Molly and Serb, all that shit is just so relatable now. And there's even people in our age range that do it as well. So I can't just fault the 17,
Yeah,
18-year-olds,
it
you know what I
sure
mean? You know, we're definitely doing it. And it's so crazy that that's relatable. I'm glad it's not, you know, the old music that we had, that all the murders and everything, like that wasn't relatable. That's great. But the fact that we're seeing these rappers, like we just, was it Frito Santana? He just had a seizure, passed away not too
Yeah.
long ago. And then,
Said his liver and his kidney failed at
failed.
the same time.
exactly. Like, and so
That's
you know that
crazy.
was nowhere near a peaceful and comfortable death whatsoever. And then the person recently, Lil Peep, I'm not familiar with anything that he does like whatsoever, but he had he overdosed on Xans, and then now they're doing this big,
And
stop popping Xans.
He was white, right?
I think he was white.
Okay, yeah. I
Was
think
he
I
white?
remember seeing pictures of him.
Yeah, I think
he had
he
a
was white.
fade, right? Like a pink
I think he
fade
was
or
white.
something like that.
I think I think that is him.
Yeah.
But you know, when he passed, all of a sudden it's this Stop Xanny movement in hip hop. If you'd have said this back in like 2002, 2003, you'd be like, Stop Xanny movement. What you mean? Like, what's going on with
that?
Xans?
I wish
What
you
are
would've
exactly?
told me
What are
that.
Xans?
Wish you would have told me that.
Oh, you ain't caught up yet?
Yeah, well, I only
Still
tried.
popping Xans or what?
I only tried them one time, but I took 2, and I couldn't feel my feet afterwards, and then I ended up losing a bunch of money in a strip club.
Sounds like
I would say that's more of a positive experience from it, from
was
what these other
lit.
cats is getting.
Sounds like a good night.
Hey, you
At
enjoyed
least you
yourself.
remembered your night.
Hey,
Okay.
the last thing I remember is I had took like 201s, dressed my booth, threw ones all over the floor, and next thing I know, all my ones are gone.
But do you at least remember the strippers? 'Cause I know when you throw money, that's when they
Right.
bring out the golden gooses. Like that's when they no, you
golden
go in the back, go
goose.
get Tasha. You know, like that's when they bring out the right ones. Like you at least remember the experience.
I remember a little bit.
It's not sounding too positive. I hear you though. But
them Xannies, man.
but overall, just kind of wrap up what I'm going off of. Like the fact that we can YouTube August Alsina having a seizure, falling off stage. You know, the fact that we could find that kind of stuff.
Oh, wow.
You couldn't pull that up back when we was listening. We had to see it in the news. You know, like you weren't getting, you know, messages about what was going on. Now it's so public and it's so in your face that people just want to do whatever is going to get the 1,000 million shares, 1,000 million followers, the whole nine.
All that.
So the culture is different between the drug dealers and the drug users, but I would say from the drug dealers, we didn't aspire to be drug dealers. We aspired to get money and live the lifestyle that they're living. The drug user music are just aspiring to do that, is get as high as possible, come close to death. You see all these retarded challenges that they doing.
Oh, yeah.
And that's just the culture now.
That's a great thought, man.
Now with that, my curiosity came, the music that we listened to, they didn't preach about Xans and Lino. Where did that come from?
The want to get higher.
Well, they say that people been rapping about syrup for a minute.
Yeah, that's a Houston thing
but
for sure.
Now it's popular. Now it's like more of a national trend.
But I think the syrup thing was strictly to that area though, because I know people on this side wasn't doing that.
No, they for sure started getting
Pimp C was on
exactly. Yeah, definitely. They for sure started getting into it when the South, when they came in and their era started in hip hop. That's when everybody started getting more familiar with Lean.
That's why, because the South is lit right now in music.
The crazy thing about that is, as it got popular, you also find out about DJ Screw's death, who died from overdose. Yeah. So it's like, how is this popular? How is this the thing to do? Like, the drug user music, you're running the risk of getting pinched or you're running the risk of pissing off another dealer. This one, you're gonna die because you're just trying to get high. That's the end game, exactly. Is to get as high as possible and clock out at an early age, die young. You know what I mean?
What are you doing with your life? I'm dying.
I'm about to get high as hell. Where it goes from there is, just where it goes. Kev, I know you just as deep in hip hop, so how you feel about it?
No, a lot of the same things that you were saying. It's funny because I was actually just thinking about this. Like, I think our age group of millennials, we're probably the most. What's the word I'm looking for? We're probably the most. We're different from the other millennials because we got to see it on both views. You know what I mean? We got to see the 90s era, and we also came up in the 2000 era. So I think we got both sides of the coin. Because I know people that are my age that like the littles. I call them the littles. I don't like none of them niggas.
You don't?
I don't like none of them niggas. So I think we got like we our millennials, we can play both sides of the coin. But I agree with a lot of stuff you were saying.
With that being the fact that you can kind of cut millennials like right in the middle, how do you guys feel about the difference between the early mid to late 80s millennials to the 90s going on millennials? Like, how do you feel about that gap between the two?
First question is, when does the millennial stop? Like the age or the era?
I think we're still in it. So if you're still getting born now, I know it's the
you're still being born, you're a millennial.
Like they consider the millennials the people basically born into the tech era. Like, we came around with the computers and everything like that. So
kind of.
as the tech era is still, booming, of course, with the sex robots and all this other shit going on, we're still in the millennial age. So it's like, if I had to just guess, I would say maybe 83, 84 up.
Yeah.
I think it's around that, right?
Yeah, it's definitely about 84. I want to say 86.
Yeah, maybe a little later.
But, yeah, I want to say 86.
Like, so just that the difference, because it's such a huge difference between the two. Like, how do y'all feel about that gap, and how can we at least somehow find something that's relatable to at least bring us all on one accord?
When you say gap, are you talking about like mentality, or are you talking about like music?
No, the mentality. Oh yeah, this is past music at this point.
You know what? I have a very different experience with younger millennials because I find them to be highly intelligent.
That they are,
very
definitely
in tune with policy and anything that has to do with being educated. I feel like they're more involved in my generation.
That's that Green Valley location.
I was substitute teaching, and I would teach at like Mojave, or even like
shout out.
Most of the time I was at Mojave, and they were very mature. So I like the younger millennials.
That's interesting.
I think it's my experience was the exact. Now I know that they are. It was. I'm just being honest. Like, they are definitely smarter, especially considering the era that they're coming up in.
Yeah, they have way more access to information.
Yeah. Of course, but I see a lot of the ones that they live their life based on, social media. They live their life based on what can possibly go viral. They live their life based on, what's the closest we can come to death possibly. Like when you speak of Mojave, that's where I graduated from. I went back for an alumni, a little alumni thing they did up there, and we were speaking. And you look around, and it's a bunch, and it's cold out. Okay. It's probably February, like February, March-ish or whatever. It's cold, and it's cats in there in shorts. And you're looking like, why are you in shorts? And you look down, and they got on the ankle bracelet. They got on the monitor. So, like, you're purposely flaunting the monitor. And the only ones that had on shorts all had monitors. So, like, they saw that kind of stuff as cool. You know what I mean? And then,
do you think that's what it is, or do you think that there was a reason?
I know when we were asking the questions, and again, it's off of my own personal experience. Everybody has different experiences, obviously. Just off of my own personal experiences, we asked them questions. They didn't necessarily want to do more than what they were already doing. Like we would ask about moving forward in college. No, I'm not going. Okay, so what are you trying to do? Shit, I'm about to just get money. Now, mind you, we're in school.
Well, there's a
Shit,
huge reason why, and I feel like our generation thinks the same way. People don't think that you need education anymore.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
Heard that.
That's more of a. I feel like unfortunately, it falls on their generation, and education is just not what it used to be.
Right.
So I feel them.
No, yeah, the move doesn't need to be, I need to go off to college and do this, that, and the third. That's what we got told. Yeah. You can drop out of high school and still be a millionaire. But the conversation is like, there's not much of a exit plan. It's just get out of high school, get money.
There's no planning at all.
They just know what they want to do.
They just know they want the bag at the end of the day.
That's kind of what society teaches you, is that as long as you make money, everything's great about you.
Addressing your comment as far as the ankle monitors. Oak, you made a point when we were on the show maybe a few months back, and hip-hop has made it cool to show off your struggle.
True.
So that's probably, where they get that mentality from. Because Tupac, would always talk about how hard it was for him, and would make it seem like it's cool to have difficulties. It's cool to not have things, and then I could talk about it, and it kind of sounded good. Put it on a beat, and
take it from there.
You might have made it a classic.
Yeah.
The difference I see between the older millennials and the younger millennials is the ability to delay instant gratification. Everybody wants everything right now.
Yeah.
Right now. Nobody wants to wait for it. No one really wants to pay their dues or anything like that. Whatever they got to do to get it done right now, that's what they're going to do.
Right.
And that's why you see people doing crazy stuff for those likes. And those
I think the older millennials are like that too. They think they don't have to crawl before they walk. They think somebody's just going to come to them.
There is a huge entitlement issues with the older millennials.
Big
I agree
grand
with
job
that.
without working your way up to it. That's how I view it. But yeah, so.
Interesting. Stroke my beard.
No, I definitely appreciate the answers. I don't know. I just felt like it's just such a big difference between the two. But there is. What definitely meets us in the middle is that we're all just trying to be better and do better going forward, and not try to stick with any traditional, I guess you could say, traditional expectations for us. So I don't know if we can find some way to make that work and then just bring the whole generation together to just move. Yeah, that'd be dope. I think it'd be very dope. Yeah. I don't think the music's gonna change. The music's not gonna change. I think it's gonna change a lot of what we're doing.
I like the music, so I like the littles.
So like all of them though.
All of them.
What's all of them?
Lil Yachty, Lil Uzi
I like
Vert,
Lil Yachty. I like Lil Uzi. I don't know about Peep. I don't know about Pump.
You don't like Pump? Lil Pump?
That's Gucci Gang, right?
He made a cute little song.
I'm
not gonna say I'm rocking with him though. I like Lil Baby.
It was catchy too.
Who was that?
Lil Baby. Like his music is dope.
Wait, is somebody named Lil Baby?
And his music is lit.
What? Yeah, you gotta call a grown man Lil Baby. I'm good.
Lil Baby.
I'm good.
Only reason I can't say anything about that because we had Birdman as Baby for years.
But no, everybody called him Birdman.
Nah, they called him Baby.
Baby.
He was definitely Baby for a while. He didn't come Birdman until when he put out that shoe. And then it was just Birdman from then on.
Baby.
Do your homework. Look up Lil Baby on iTunes.
I'm probably not.
Oh.
I'm gonna look him up just for the sheer fact that it got mentioned. But I I feel like I'm not gonna be I'm not gonna be enthused to go forward.
No,
for
he's,
one of
he's
them.
not a mumble rapper. So
Really?
No.
That's kind of
That's my
surprising.
major issue with these lyrics.
I like mumble
yeah?
rap, but he's not a mumble rapper.
You like mumble
He's
rap.
like
See, now I may actually go listen.
yeah, do that.
Friendship just got lost, by the way. I'm no longer best friends. Kid don't share the same taste in music. This is a good conversation for. I appreciate you guys coming through. Moving forward, I want to talk about the NFL since we're coming off of the Super Bowl. First of all, Vegas traffic was entirely too crazy. Super Bowl wasn't happening here.
That's why I'm like, what was going on?
No, it was a lot of people. Like where I work at, we had about 1,500 check-ins the day before the bowl. The day of, we had like 600. Wasn't too bad the day of. But if we had 14 and we're one of the smaller hotels, I know some of the bigger joints had some crazy check-in numbers.
yeah.
So they were flooding the city. Now, I'm pretty sure it's for bets, but we had like Super Bowl parties going on. We had huge screenings going on. It was a bunch of things happening in the city as if this was Minnesota, as if this is where the Super Bowl was going down.
Yeah.
So that was just too much traffic. But that was just a gripe. But with the actual Super Bowl, did you guys watch?
Oh, yes.
How'd you feel about
Kind
it?
of.
So you in and out?
I was at an event and ate tacos. I don't know.
The tacos is much more
The
entertaining,
tacos
I'm
were
sure.
amazing.
How did you feel about the outcome? How did you feel about the Philly finally bringing it home?
Fantastic.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Fantastic. Eagles, my favorite team since I was a little jit.
Really?
Then I really don't talk about, who my favorites is just because.
You're going to talk about it today, though, after they won the Super Bowl.
Hey, the reason being is I don't talk about it is because I just used to lose all the time. And like,
I'm tired of losing.
so
Sick of this shit.
When you lose so much, you stop talking about
Yeah, I feel you.
winning or what you're good at.
I understand. I had a whole 4-year gap of that. I understand.
I'm about to say he's a Cavs fan.
I understand. I get it.
Yeah, so once you figure it out,
Yeah, we
that you
figure it
don't
out.
got to talk about it, then it just happened. Then
Right.
you gotta get a chance to, because that's why a lot of people be trying to shoot you down because they be seeing you feeling a little too high.
You a little too up there right now.
Yeah, but then
That's why they couldn't wait to get at Cowboys fans when
Yeah.
the following year they just became trash out of nowhere.
Yeah,
Dang.
Well, they were trash kind of like leading up to it, and then like Super Bowl, and then trash after. So it was a cool little middle point. My bad to all the Cowboys fans. I'm pretty sure somebody's on your live right
I'm
now.
over here lost, like, who did what?
Oh, my bad.
that's like I feel about your geography. I mean,
Can't even say it.
Whole new word. Right?
Can't even say it.
What's the
I'm
definition of
happy the Eagles
geography?
won.
Yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
for real.
I'm happy they won. I'm happy they beat the Patriots.
Yeah,
Especially how they did my
Think about
Steelers.
this though, a backup quarterback.
Exactly, but
Backup.
Wentz was killing shit halfway there, and then
Oh,
no
yeah.
wait, hold on, I'm getting mixed up.
Wentz got hurt week
Yeah, well, there you go,
14,
Wentz.
week 13.
Week 13, and
towards the
then
end of the season.
then Foles just took over from there. I think it was low key a movie that we watched happen, and then you got to the main part. Because think about it, if you remember how they came out to Meek Mill's record.
Yeah, and I was like,
And
there you go. That's
it was a
how you
hype.
do it.
Like white, black, whatever the color the player came out, they all were hyped. They all were feeling. Everybody was spitting the lyrics. It was such a different emotion. And I was telling Kev earlier, like y'all were supposed to win that game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you couldn't come out that hype and then walk back.
And then lose.
Yeah.
You know, with your head down.
Right,
You had to
head
keep that
down,
exact
passing
same
heavy.
energy.
Yeah.
Ew,
So,
yeah.
No, so it was dope to see that.
So Plies said this. He said, if the Eagles are going to go to the Super Bowl, to the White House, they got to pardon Meek Mill. Trump got
That's the deal.
Yeah.
I don't think Philly going to the White House though.
I
You
seen
can't really
it.
come back to Philadelphia like going to the White House taking pictures with Trump. They in your head after that.
But that's funny. Probably say that. I like that.
Yeah, you got to pardon Meek Mill.
That's a fair trade.
He said, that's
fair
a
to
fair
me.
trade.
You want us to come? We need him free.
We need him to leave with us.
This
Yeah.
is
It's one or
this
the
is
other.
good race relations right here. Okay.
You probably don't remember, Kev, but you were saying something.
And I don't remember.
I figured that was. My bad.
I'm used to it by now.
Yeah, I know. A few
Don't worry,
episodes
it happens
in.
to me all the time, man. All the time. But you know what?
Shade.
But you know what? We still be getting good ideas.
That's what I'm saying.
Definitely. Still get a good conversation out of it. Now, as far as the NFL period, how did you do during the boycott? You can be honest.
I'm so good at boycotting the NFL. Oh my God.
The best boy.
You're like, I've been doing it on accident.
Been boycotting them.
We was boycotting. We was.
I didn't start watching until about week 13, 14. I probably watched like 5 games total this year.
I think I watched less than that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a competition.
I think I watched one or two, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. And that's not out of boycotting. That's out of me being lazy.
All of them was. How many was in the playoffs though?
I didn't watch any playoffs.
No?
Yes, I did. I watched the game where my Saints lost. So I didn't want to talk about that, but that's the game I watched.
Yeah, that's the
Super
one
Bowl.
game I watched.
The
Was
one
the
game.
Steelers in the playoffs. But other than that, I mean, I felt what they were talking about with the boycott, and I didn't want to be on the wrong side of history in a sense. You know,
Yeah.
I didn't want to be the one box that was giving them that extra, like, we just barely made it. Like if it was that one box to break even, I didn't want to be that box.
Well, they said the ratings from the NFL was down by like 10% for the
Yeah.
year.
Yeah,
And
the lowest since 2010.
Which is pretty high number.
And that was my next point. Like, do you feel as if that boycott may have resonated some kind of a message to the owners, to the NFL in general?
No.
I agree.
Nope.
Well,
they
they
still
very
make
clear.
bread.
may
Right.
have relayed the message, but the question is, are they going to respond or listen to the message?
I think it's a no on both parts.
No,
Yeah.
no message.
I think they
no.
made it clear.
I think the only way they respond to that is if they start losing money.
Right.
Once they start losing money, then they'll be like, all right, we got to do something.
So you don't lose money from losing ratings?
Not when you were exceeding ratings to begin with.
And sponsors know that NFL is a cash cow no matter what. Like even
Cash
if
cow.
people aren't watching, they know that they can fly a blimp and show something
Right.
on the blimp. They know they can have some kind of signage there. Like it's going to be opportunities for promotion all over the NFL. So I wish it would have done something, but where I'm happy about the boycott is that it at least brought attention to what Cap was trying to do.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I salute to Kaepernick at that. Like I just saw recently he reached his $1 million goal, his pledge. He was doing the 10. You guys familiar with what he was doing? The 10 for 10.
Yeah, he wanted 10,000 people to donate 10,000 or something like that.
I think it was. I think he was reaching out to mostly
Or 10
celebrities.
people.
He wanted
10,000
celebrity.
people.
He wanted every
It's a lot of damn
celebrity
people.
to.
And they all give him
I didn't do
10K.
that
Can I get paid?
I'm about to say you only wanted a meal, but no, he was doing 10 for 10 for every celebrity that donated 10,000. He was going to match their 10,000.
Okay.
And I got a pretty short list here, but just to kind of go and salute the people that did it. KD, Jesse Williams, Serena Williams, T.I., Chris Brown, Joey Badass, Meek Mill from prison, Usher, Khaled, Dre, Diddy, Kobe, Steve Stout, Quavo, your boy Trey, Nas, Angela Rye, Alicia Keys. They all did 10,000.
Diddy only did 2,000.
What I think happened
I said the
was-
same
I
thing.
smacked
with
Diddy in his
Kevin.
head. Like, really?
Hey, he followed the rules. You can't be mad at somebody for listening.
I know, but I mean, Diddy, come on, bro. $1 million to him is $100.
That's true.
He could have just paid it off.
Maybe
$1
little
million
less.
to him is probably $1 million.
$1 million? Not when he has
That was
800
good.
million.
That was
Yes,
good.
it is.
That was good.
I'm just saying.
Hey, they said the rich don't like to give shit out.
That's
what
true.
keep 'em rich.
I understand. Believe me, I
probably
do.
like,
I'm
you
just
know what I
saying.
could do with this $1 million? Like, he could take this 10.
He's probably done a lot. He's
you
probably
go.
done a lot less with $1 million.
Now that 10 is probably like $1 to him for sure.
Oh yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. We've seen how he looks at $1 bills through memes.
Right. That's cool. Completely off. Exactly.
That was
You
hilarious.
know.
Snoop Dogg did 25. Nick Cannon and Hannibal Buress did 30,000. And of course, Colin matched everybody dollar for dollar.
I think what happened was is that he started that 10 for 10 at the last 900, or when he got to 900K. And that's when he did his 10 for 10. And then that's when everybody started going because he was already putting in much money.
Yeah, he started
money
it back.
before he started it.
What was that? 2016
Yeah.
when he started it. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's crazy it took that long to get to at least this place, but
Well,
it's
maybe
dope.
You think he was doing research and who to give what and whose hands were actually in what pots to make sure that the actual money gets allocated to the places that we really that need the most service. or need
Definitely, I
most
think the
help.
first national anthem that he didn't stand up for, he's been researching since then, if not before then.
And it didn't even get pubbed the first
Right.
national anthem he didn't stand up for.
No,
was-
it did.
was-
It did because they
the second
noticed
one-
it, and
the second one where they started popping off on it.
I remember the second one's when they started talking about it.
Yeah, he did it all throughout preseason, I said.
Yeah,
and
nobody was paying attention.
With that, what do you think would happen going forward? What do you think we should expect going forward from these NFL players, knowing how everything happened this year and the disrespect from higher ups, disrespect from the fucking president who should be running the country, but he's running Twitter.
Yeah.
Like, what is something that we can expect versus what do we want to happen going forward?
I don't know, honestly. I don't know how to answer that question because I think that the issues that he's tackling are so much bigger than watching football.
Of course,
guess.
definitely.
We didn't get the. Oh, this is ending. We didn't get the response that we wanted. I think
right.
that the owners kind of pulled rank on the rest of the players. I would like to see the players actually really, challenge the owners. Really stand up and show them, look, you need me just like I need you.
Right.
But, I'm saying that as I'm not getting these beautiful checks.
Right, of 7 and 6 figures weekly.
Oh, yeah, Cash would definitely change that entire mindset. Like, you want how much? Shit, let me stand up real quick. Damn.
Let me tell you, I commend Cap.
Definitely.
Because I know him personally. And I was talking to him while he was after he got that big major contract from the 49ers.
Mm-hmm.
And they were laughing at him when he first started getting his checks because they were saying like $12K, $14K. Then he started getting the 1.2 on his check every
on the cover
week.
of magazines.
And then,
Yeah, he was
and
on the
then
cover.
That was a good season for him.
He gave it all up. How you literally are getting a check every week that has 2 commas on it.
Right.
And you just give it up. That's very commendable. And I think the guy's going to go down as a legend.
Could you do it? Could you give up 2K every so often?
2K?
Not 2K, 2 million every so often?
How
what
long
he's
is
doing.
every so often?
How many times have I given this up?
What was the rest of his contract? He had like 2 years left, didn't he?
Yeah, he still owed. They owed him like 40.
Yeah, so for the
40
next 2 years,
40 million?
Yeah.
for the next 2 years, you're used to getting $2 million a week or however, and now it stops. Could you do that?
If I had already got half of it, yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm cool.
He bowed at a good time. Then he walked
Like
away
20
broke.
mil.
Yeah, because then at that point, I'm probably not thinking about myself as much.
Right. I think his dollar just being Colin Kaepernick is going to go up just from this. He's done hundreds of speaking engagements since then, and he's like really been the face for the message that we've been trying to get out. Like he's really been on the forefront of it, and even though it's probably going to look nothing like an NFL check, but it's definitely something sustainable, something that can keep him going. Like you said, I commend him for it, I salute him for it, and I would love to see more players. But what would it take for people to really think like, okay, I have this money, I'm good, maybe I could go down this way? What do you think sparks that kind of mindset in a millionaire?
To be more passionate towards
people, towards the community, towards the injustices and everything like that.
I think that in anything that we become passionate about, that education has to come first.
Right.
So I think maybe he learned about it. He's dating Nessa Nitti, and she is an activist. And when he started dating her, that's when we seen this side of Colin come out.
Right.
One thing I think is weird is that people don't talk about when Chris Paul was trying to stage a walkout.
Right.
It never happened.
That's why they don't talk about it.
Right, but I mean, I still think that was something that could have been
Definitely
talked about. I guess he could have walked out by himself. I don't know.
But they talk about Chris Paul leading his team to the Clippers locker room to catch the fade. They all were with it. They all were with
ready
it.
to fight, huh?
But no, I definitely agree. It does take the education. What's going to make someone want that? How do you instill in someone's brain like this is what's going on? You don't want to be the ignorant one to what's happening. Like how do you get people to want that kind of knowledge?
They gotta want to leave a legacy, man. It goes back to being known forever, I guess. They say leaving a legacy is planting a seed in a garden that you'll never see. And so, once you plant that seed, you won't be really able to see your legacy blossom and flourish, things like that. And the predecessors that have come behind you and the people that are inspired by you, you won't be able to understand how many lives and people you've touched. So until you want the greatest good for the greatest number of people, you're never really going to want to help people like that. So, and living in today's world, our environment is very unhealthy. I say this, that there's 3 symptoms of a unhealthy environment. It's cynicism, skepticism, and paranoia. Cynicism is defined as believing that everyone has bad intentions.
I have that. I have cynicism.
It probably protects you a lot too.
It does. It does. It works out for
I
me.
think that these athletes have to become compassionate and empathetic towards others. And it's not just them. I think that a lot of us are not empathetic towards other people that
Very true.
you know, like some people may look at these people that are being killed by police officers and say, well, he was a thug anyways. He was
It happens way too
you know,
often.
that's
Way
just
too
not
often, right.
being empathetic. So I think that that's also a factor in, you know, making someone else's problem your problem.
Empathy. You know, they say when you say yes to somebody, you are inheriting their problems. So that's why a lot of people are saying no. Your problems look a little
Right.
tough.
I
buddy.
don't want that
Right.
from over here.
What do you think, Kev?
I agree with you guys. I think more or less the millionaires have to want it, period. I don't
Right.
think it's something that we can want for them. They have to want it, period.
Yeah.
I think that's where it starts. And then, like, Cap getting educated, because I didn't know that. I didn't know that he took that route. I think that was smart to do it that way, though. But they just got to want to do it. But if you're around people that are millionaires, you're not seeing the struggle. You're only seeing the glamour. You got to really get out there and see, like, okay, this shit is fucked up. We got to do something. Like with Bill Gates trying to get the Nigeria out of debt. He had to really see that they were struggling over there to want to do that.
Then how much did he pay though?
I think
heard
I think
76.
that's what I heard.
Yeah,
76 million.
It's either 72 or 76.
that?
Bill Gates.
Bill Gates. I think it's going to be something he's doing over time. I'm pretty sure he's not
We
just going
know
to dish
why
out
he
76
did
million.
that.
Oh yeah, we know why he
We
did
know
that.
why he did
But
that.
are we really
Tax write-off.
are we really complaining why he did that though?
I mean,
No.
he's a which country you said?
Nigeria.
Yeah, he's probably about to own it now.
That's true.
So
Think so?
yes, that's what I think that they do. I think that they put this money into these countries that are suffering, and then now they own it.
Is that wrong?
I'm not saying that it's wrong or right. I don't think that it's coming from a necessarily compassionate
genuine place.
I think that it's an opportunity for him, and it's an opportunity for the country.
Well, that's called a win-win.
I guess so.
No, I feel you on that one because I was skeptical when it first happened, and really looking into it. The last move he made like that was the move he made with Apple. So it's like to see him try to do that with Nigeria, it would make sense. But then you also look into it, unless it's like properly hidden, he doesn't really have too much. I'm using my money to get over on everybody type stories. You know what I mean? He seems to be a pretty genuine dude.
Unless you
I'm
look
always
into
gonna be
his
skeptical.
background.
Yeah, but I say let's say bring some stuff out like
now
that.
she's making me
Family.
think. I'm like, you know what? Let me go back and do some
His
research.
family.
Yeah, it's family, Dev. Yeah,
That's the
for sure.
thing, though. The man is worth what? 80+ billion?
Right.
Something along those lines.
Like, so, and you gotta, if you think about how much cash he actually has and how much he could liquidate, it's probably at least half of that. Maybe.
Yeah, he got at
and,
least-
and say it's, or a third.
Yeah, he got to at least have that in liquid.
So,
Yeah, that 72 didn't hurt him like whatsoever.
right. That's what I'm saying. So
It's an investment.
It takes 1,000 millions to make a billion, and he has 800 millions, if that makes sense. So,
Nah. You just confused us.
I just heard money. I'm like, I want that.
Right.
I get that.
yeah, that's
Wish
what
I
I'm
had
saying. It's
72
just
million.
Right.
100 million checks. That's what he's worth.
Now, I remember when you said people in general, they don't, they're not jumping to really make the change. And this could be a reach, but it's just me going off of how everyone is so gung-ho about social media. Do you think because the appreciation won't be immediate? Because honestly, I think people who are at least in tune with it appreciate it now, but we're not going to truly appreciate what Kaepernick did for another 20 years.
Right,
It's going to be something we look
exactly.
back on and be like, yo, he really changed the game.
Yeah.
So, like, do you think that could be a case for why this everyday person wouldn't do it?
Yeah, I think that people want to do something that's cool and that's sexy. That's not necessarily cool and sexy unless you're an athlete.
Right.
And it really wasn't necessarily cool for him. It kind of hurt him in some aspects where I love him more.
Exactly.
But I think that people want to do something cool. And being an activist, I don't know how cool that is until you're
It's cool
in
when
history.
it's cool when it getting spins.
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody was live during the Black Lives Matter protests. Yeah, you see us? Everybody was up. But then something like this, you want me to stop watching football?
Do you think?
Stop watching football.
Do you think going with that? Do you think that ties into the younger millennials? Because earlier we said that they want something now. So do people like them, since it would affect them just as much as affect us, do they feel like it's not happening now? So maybe that's why they don't want to do it.
I would say it's millennials, period. Because
Me
it's really of all ages from our generation. Like we're so hesitant to jump into shit, and then we're so sensitive about everything. It's
that's crazy.
It's all over the place.
Hate the
That's
sensitivity.
crazy.
I don't think it's necessarily that people are sensitive. I think that people don't know how to detach from their ideologies. It's like, okay, you believe that, but that's not you, so I'm not talking about you. I'm just saying I don't agree with that idea.
So you're saying they take everything personal?
Yeah, it's like, look,
That's
it's
sensitive.
okay. I don't have to agree. That's sensitive.
That's sensitive.
Touche.
It was just in long form, but I feel you.
Yeah.
I would love to see that change. Y'all, this was a great show. I definitely appreciate you guys coming in, having this conversation with us. It's making me look forward to all the other shows we got going forward.
Yeah.
Good people. Twice Talk. Let the folks know where they can find you.
Oh, you can find us at KUNV 91.5, but we stream over the HD2 station. We also go live on Facebook, Twice Talk page. You can go to our Twice Talk page on YouTube as well. Check out all our shows, things like that. Me and Oak also host events. We hosted a fashion show. I wish I would have recorded that one. It was a good time. She, carried the load. It was dope, man. Made sure that I was stayed on my toes, man. And, it
was really dope.
It was a lot of fun, man. It was a lot of fun.
That's dope.
For sure. We got a couple other events we're going to do coming up soon. Looking to get into more broadcasting as well. So we got a couple things up the sleeve, man, and just stay tuned. It's gonna be a movie. It's gonna be a movie.
So outside of the show, where can people, or if you want them to follow you, where can they find you outside of that?
My IG is KOKOAKA_, and that's for Twitter as well.
Okay.
So just those two.
All you gotta do is think twice, baby. Just type it in, you're gonna find me. Thinking twice, no G.
Kev?
Same as usual, _Hollywood Kev on Twitter and Instagram.
At Big Los UTC on Twitter, Big Los IG on Instagram. Of course, follow at The Noize Podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. You can also follow at Beat Network on Instagram, at Beat_Network on Twitter, and of course, like the Facebook page, facebook.com/BeatNetwork1, and check out the website, BeatNetworkOnline.com. We have hella plugs at the end of the show. I guess I should have told y'all that. That was easy,
it's cool.
5 minutes of the show right there. Again, we appreciate you guys coming through, giving this great, silly, all over the place conversation. I really enjoyed it, and we got to have you guys back. Oh, I'm pretty sure you're going to be back on at least 4 or 5 other shows because this is just where you're at this point. Twice, we got to get you back again, sir. As always, we appreciate you guys tuning in. As always, we appreciate your support. And as always, it's Big Los.
Hollywood Kev.
It's The Noize.